Hello everyone, my name is Harsh and welcome to session 12 on Flutter 101 Bootcamp. In today's session, we'll be looking how we can work with APIs in our Flutter application and how we can make get and post requests along with some authenticated requests like passing some API keys or like secret values so that the API only works when you have passed those values. Apart from that, we'll be also looking at some of the basics of how you can like add a basic database like offline database inside your application. We'll be looking how to implement it in the next session, but for today we'll be I'll be giving you a gist of what all things you can do in that type of database. So let's go towards our app. So you can see here that I have created the basic screen or the basic home page, landing page of our application. So it has 6 different types of flat buttons. So inside the application you can see that the first one says get API, the second one says post API, the third one is for inserting a data inside our what we can say the basic database which we'll be having. Fourth one will be querying the database. Fifth one will be updating whatever the database is present inside our application. And with the help of last button, that is the delete button, we can delete the database or a particular value which is present inside the database. So this database will be of type persistent. We'll be talking about it a bit later in this part of our session. Let's move towards the code. Let me walk you through the code. So we have an app bar here in which we have this title being displayed. Next we have a column which has main axis alignment set to center and some children's which are holding are various different buttons. So these are the type of flat buttons. They have an on press which will be triggering a function. So we'll be creating these functions also in the tomorrow session. Today we'll be seeing how we can implement the get and post API. So for making an API request, the thing which you need is an HTTP package. So HTTP package you can install by copying. You can Google directly HTTP Flutter and it will be providing you with the first link which will be taking you to the HTTP package page. You can directly copy the latest version along with the HTTP and paste it here and then run flutterpub command or click on save. So it will be fetching the packages for you. So I have added my HTTP package here. Now let's move towards how we can add this API or work with this API like the get API inside our Flutter application. So for working with the get API you need two things. So the first one is that you should have an API link, and the second one is that you should have that link triggering some particular part of the code which will be returning us with some part of an output which we will be displaying inside our application. So you need those two things. So the thing like how you can create an API does not falls under this Flutter section or Flutter Bootcamp. So I would be covering this in upcoming videos after the Flutter Bootcamp, like how you can create an API, how you can create a get and put request or post request inside Flutter or through some APIs inside Python. So I'll be making some videos on later part after this bootcamp. For now I have my API created in AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. So with the help of a Lambda functions I have created an API, and with the help of API gateway I have deployed it. So I have a link to that API. So that is this is basically a get API through which I'll be getting whatever my thing is or whatever my output is which I'm returning from my Lambda function. Let's start towards implementing that API. So the first thing which I need to do is I need to import HTTP package. So I'll import http.dart as http. So I have imported it. Now I have this flat button which is for the get API request. So inside the on press, so whenever this button will be pressed, we'll be triggering this API. So the API will be of type future. So I need to assign a sync to it so that an await could be taking place. So we'll add await http.get. So http is giving us some error. Let's see what it is saying. Undefined name http. So we have named it as https. We need to name it as http. So http is working now, and inside this get, let's see what all things we need to pass. So get takes a URL which is a compulsory thing, and we can also pass some headers. So for the headers part we'll be seeing how we can do it with the post request. Let's see for the URL only. and I'll add a semicolon. Now I have my API URL which I'll copy from AWS API gateway. So inside this get I'll paste my API and add a code so that the API could appear in a better way. Now let's assign a variable named as var output, and we'll be setting the value of this output variable to this like the request or the thing which we'll be getting. And after this what we can do is we can print output. Now let's click on the button, let's save it once and hot restart it. And let me open the debug console to see if there are any errors which are occurring or not. So the application has restarted. Now when I click on this get API, it takes some time for the thing to like identify or to fetch the thing from this particular API. So this is the API link which I have created. So it will be providing me with what all the new event registration or what all the new features are there inside my event registration app. So this is an app which I am working on currently. So I have created that API for this particular app. Now as you can see that when I am printing that output, it is providing me with an output of instance.response. So it is like returning a type of dot response. So we need to print an output out of we need to like what we can say, display the text or display the thing which is getting or which is being returned from this particular API. So let me like just click on this and see what all thing it is having. What if I add .toString to it and then click on this particular API? Let's wait for it. Now when I click on get API, it is still showing me an instance of response. So I have added .toString, but it is not working here. So let me remove this .toString and in place of it, let's add body to it. So I guess this will be working fine as of now. Let me press the get API thing and you can see that it is displaying us with the things which are coming out of this API. So this API is having this one which contains these many things. So it has an heading, it has a body, and similarly we are having 2, 3 and 4. So these are the 4 features which are new to a particular app which I am using, and all of these 4 features are having an heading. So heading of UI and description about it, heading of multi sign-in option and description about it. So this is basically for the get API, like how we can use this particular API inside our Flutter application. Now let's move towards the post API thing. So inside this post API thing only we'll be seeing how we can use headers. So like how we can pass what I can say that API keys or like things so that you can make authenticated API request or authenticated API calls. So now let's look how we can make authenticated request in Flutter. So for making an authenticated request, we need to pass some HTTP headers along with our API which we are using. So let me like add the code to this on-press thing. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be initializing it to the async value as well, because it will also like get or give the async or await thing, like the future output will be given in this part of the code as well. Now I'll assign or initialize a variable name output here as well, and we'll be setting the value of it to await http dot get. So this is also like the type of get request. So let me change the name of it to get authenticated. I'll also be showing you the post one after this. After this we need to pass the link of the API which we are having. So I'll copy the link and in place of URL I'll pass the URL here. And after this URL, what we need to pass is we need to pass the headers inside our application. So adding a semicolon here, and after this URL we need to pass headers. So headers are basically the values which we want, like the authentication values or authenticated values, which will be making the API work only when you are passing those values. So I'll write HTTP headers and http headers dot authorization. I guess I need to import dart.io first. Let me do it. Where, yeah, so here it is, headers dot, so authorization header, and inside it you can pass whatever you want. So currently I am doing like typing basic API token. So this is like in place of basic API token you can pass your token, as this API which we are using here does not need any of the token or any of the thing authentication part for this. So we are just typing basic API token here. Now let's print the output which we are having. Print output dot body, adding a semicolon here. Let's wait for the app to hot reload. So let me click on it. So when I click on this button, it is taking some time, and after which it is displaying us with an output. So here is an output. So this is the output which we will be getting from this API, and we have like seen how we can pass various different authentication thing inside our API, and how we can make our API work through like adding authentication part to our API. So in place of it, you can pass your token whichever you are having, which will be making your API to run. So this is how you can do this. Let's move towards the post API request thing. Now working with the post API request, what I have done is I have gone back to my AWS, and I have deployed the API by adding some post method to it. So now what this post method will allow me to do is like we can make post requests towards the API which we are having here. So earlier it had only get method like connected to it, so we can only make get request to it, and whenever we are trying to make a post request to it, it was providing me with an error. But now I have added a post method also in my AWS console, and now whenever we'll be like replacing the get method with the post method, so it will be providing us with the same output whichever the function was returning when we are having the get output like get method attached with HTTP. So the output will be remaining same, but now in this post method, one more thing which we can add apart from the headers and apart from the URL is the body part. So whenever we are making a post request, we need to provide, or like we have to provide some body as well if we want the API to like work on some particular thing. So what generally happens in AWS is that we have an event which acts or which is derived from the body part. So whatever body you will be passing from your application will be converted into an event inside your AWS console or AWS code, and from that event you can get whatever input you want to pass. So currently I am working on an app where I have passed the output of an event inside my API as a body, and then the AWS code or the code inside my Lambda function will be taking all the emails which are passed through the body part. So all the emails will be taken, and it will be like sending a mail automatically on those particular emails and telling the emails that this particular event has been created or this particular event has been cancelled. So this is what we can pass inside our body. As I mentioned that you can pass headers as well, and you can also include encoding inside it. So encoding is used for like encoding your text to UTF-8. So here it is showing us that it defaults our code to UTF-8. Yeah, so these are the things which you can pass inside your http.post request method. So let me change this get to post so that there is no confusion that we have made a get or a post request here. So this was for the API part, like how you can work with an API inside your like Flutter application, or how you can work with authenticated API, how you can make your get request or post request inside your Flutter functions or Flutter application. So this was for the first part of our session. Now let's move towards the second part, which is like how you can create or how you can work with the SQLite database inside your Flutter application. So before starting, let me tell you more about this type of database which we are having inside Flutter. So for like using SQLite or for using a type of persistent database, like it in other languages, what thing which we use is SQLite, but in Flutter that SQLite is converted into SQFlite. So what SQFlite is generally used for if we are writing to an app that we need to query a large amount of data, or we need to store a large amount of data, and that too on a local device. So we use or we implement SQFlite or SQLite inside our application. So like for example, if you are having a particular data which does not wants the user to interact with the internet that much, like you can take an example of a camera application. So we are clicking photos from that application and we don't want that particular app to interact with the internet, and we want only that the images should be stored inside our application only and not on cloud. So we need like the local storage, and along with the images being stored inside your application, what you want is that all the names of the images which you are clicking, or all the locations of the images which you are storing, need to be stored inside a particular database, so that accessing of those particular images could be made readily available to the particular user. So in that case, you generally prefer, or we generally prefer this SQFlite database. So for implementing SQFlite database inside Flutter, what you can do is you can directly Google SQLite Flutter, and after which you will be taken to the SQLite Flutter page. So you will be taken to the SQLite Flutter package page. Inside it you can move to the installing section. So let me share my screen of that part. So here is my screen. So when you will be visiting on this page, you can directly move to the installing part, and from here you can copy SQFlite along with the version, and then you can add it inside your pubspec.yaml file under the dependency section, and then you can start working on the SQLite or SQFlite database inside Flutter. So the part which is given here is a bit complex, and it happened with me also that I have to refer various different sources for starting or getting started with like SQL database inside Flutter. So you don't need to worry, I'll be guiding you, or I'll be providing the best thing like how you can work with this SQFlite database in tomorrow's session. So what all things we'll be seeing is that firstly we'll be creating a database helper inside our Flutter application. So you can see that here is a database helper file for our application. So inside it all the things will be assigned, like the code related to the inserting. So we'll be having a particular thing related to inserting, deleting, querying and updating, and all these four options are together called CRUD operations. So create, read, update and delete. So these are the things which we'll be seeing and we'll be working on in tomorrow's session. So that was it for today's session. I hope that you enjoyed today's session, and if you are creating some APIs, or if you are working with some API or making some API apps in your Flutter application, or adding some APIs inside your Flutter application, so make sure to share them on our Discord, so that more people can take motivation from you and get motivated and work on similar apps like you have did. So this was all for this session. And also if you guys want that like I should make videos on how you can create API inside AWS and various different things related to AWS, then let me know on Discord or in the comment box, so that like I can make various different videos on them and all the things which I am using in my application. So this was all for today's session. I hope that you have enjoyed today's session and have got to learn something new. And if you have any doubts, then make sure to drop them on Discord after the session, so I'll be there to help you with your doubts. So yeah, thank you for watching.